We did our group project on Tokyo. Just some basic info on Tokyo itself. It was founded in 1457 and began to urbanize in the late 19th century as more people began to move to the city. It is currently the most highly populated city with estimates ranging from 36 to 38 million people residing there, with 13 million staying in the city center. It is the 7th most livable city in the world today and has the busiest metro in the world with the highest amount of civilians in the world to use it. It is busy, modern, and culturally rich. Air pollution. What it is. It is when harmful or excessive quantities of substances including gases, particulates, and biological molecules are introduced into Earth's atmosphere. How is it caused and why is it bad? Air pollution is mainly caused by automobiles and factories, since automobiles and factories in Tokyo release smoke full of toxic chemicals like formaldehyde and carbon dioxide. Factories burn coal and even radioactive waste from other countries, and it decreases the oxygen supplies and releases chemicals in the air that can cause lung cancer. The diseases you could get from the air pollution include asthma, bronchitis, and many types of lung cancer. Potential solutions to reduce the air pollution in Tokyo include regulating industrial smoke emissions, setting the maximum permitted level of vehicle exhaust gases, making harmful substances such as nitrogen oxides, cadmium, chlorine, fluorine, and lead subject to regulation, increasing accessibility and efficiency of public transportation in order to reduce the use of private vehicles, and constructing densely populated areas with access to public transport.
The next issue that Tokyo faces is waste management. Tokyo ranks 8th in the world for most tons of municipal waste per year, with about 2.7 million tons of waste. The problem now is how to deal with the waste and what happens when the landfills are filled. The municipal trash collected from Tokyo's 23 wards are sent to either a landfill or a waste incineration plant through the waste processing of collection, intermediate processing that includes incineration and pulverization, and landfills. This is all a problem because of Tokyo's limited landmass. Currently, 1/8 of Tokyo's waste goes to landfill sites near Tokyo's Bay that are being used as a final disposal site, while everything else is incineration. Incineration has consequences of releasing dioxins, which may be toxic to humans, that take lots of energy to go through, and ash byproducts that have to end up in landfills. On top of that, Tokyo has a horrible recycling rate that lags behind other industrialized nations with a 20.8% recycling rate. Potential solutions of this is to continue Tokyo's 3 R's initiative with the emphasis on reduce, reuse, and recycle. Besides that, Tokyo itself has thought of great innovative ways to reuse waste that includes landfill reuse, to turn landfills into parks, and also waste reuse ideas such as taking the incineration ash byproduct and turning them into ash blocks. Also, it would be really helpful to add more research into better techniques of waste reuse items.
The urban heat island effect is a combination of processes that leads to an urban area having increased temperatures compared to the areas that surround it. Over the last century, Tokyo has increased temperature 3 degrees more compared to 1 degree for neighboring areas. The urban heat island effect is caused by a combination of many things, including a vicious cycle of cooling down the city, which leads to the atmosphere heating up by release of greenhouse gases, and it also destroys the ozone layer. Buildings are made of materials such as concrete that absorb heat. The buildings are placed in formations that block wind channels, and urbanization in general destroys wildlife and flora that can instead help cool the city. There are already a ton of solutions being utilized to combat this effect that are mainly natural. Buildings are placed as to not obstruct wind channels. They aren't placed near coastlines so winds can blow in, and buildings aren't entirely made of concrete so that heat isn't absorbed. The government subsidizes people who have a rooftop of over 1,000 square feet to have a green that takes up at least 20% of their rooftop. They've been innovative in that they use water-resistant asphalt to cool the city's streets, and the government actively encourages civilians to pursue green measures by pouring sewage water and other waste from their home onto the city streets.
What would Tokyo look like without undertaking policies? This would include lots of smog, an overflow of waste into the ocean, or a change of current land use on the island to landfills, and then being potentially unlivable. With these policies, the city would mitigate many of the health and climate issues that it would have to face, have to have less waste mass, and be more prepared for potential issues involving land use, habitability, and overall it would be much more livable space with a longer longevity through 2050 and beyond.